Welcome back, everybody. It is Tuesday, and that means another episode of Theater and Tech Trends. And it's the four T's, Theater Tech Trends on Tuesday. And tonight, I'm happy to have Digital Dawn AV back with us, wearing his very classy jewelry neck piece, looking good. He has indeed survived surgery, so we're all super happy for that. And he is going to slog through the pain medication and other items and hang out with us as long as he can make tonight and fight the good fight. So, Don, pleasure to have you back on again.
Pleasure to meet you, poor. Pain medication. Thank you.
He's like, it's good pain meds.
Try to be here.
Now, tonight, I'm joined by an old friend, Roger Fortier. I've known Roger, God, it's been a number of years now.
Yeah,
and it's always great to have you on the show because you always have wonderful things to talk about. And what's really exciting for me is you're going to be talking. Well, so you work for, I should let you tell this, but okay, I'm going to let you tell it. I'm not just going to talk. I'm going to let you tell. It looks like Don is going to take a little bonus minute there. We'll bring him back when there he comes back. All right, you're back now. So if you could let people know who you are, what you do, and why they should care.
Oh, the last one could be a hard one.
Yeah. I'm excited because there's so many things I want to get into.
Yeah. Basically, at this time in my life, I'm working with a company called Forte Distribution. This is a small distribution company that we started about a year and a half ago. And basically, what we did is we were looking at products that were coming in from overseas with companies that were looking for a way to get into the North American market. And our philosophy is that we look for companies not only that make good products, but they're nice people to work with and that we can have fun with. And the attitude is if we're not having fun, then we're going to move on. So as it turns out, it's working out really well. We import Eversolo, which is main line, and we do extremely well with that. We also work with
you do.
Yes, we do.
I like it's like we do extremely well with it. If you mean like selling billions of units a year, yes, you do very well.
Okay, yeah, we do good.
It's a great product. I mean,
you guys have pretty much single-handedly redefined the streaming preamp market, right? It's just
yeah, it really did. It gave a new meaning and name to streaming. And I think the biggest issue or the biggest thing they did is, other than the fact that they have what I call very good quality for the price sonically, it's they have a huge staff of software engineers. And so the user interface is amazingly easy to use. You can bring it into most people's homes and it's intuitive. They don't have to sit there and read a manual or anything. You can easily go through and start it up and use it. Yeah. And I think that really did change the streaming market in a lot of ways.
Absolutely. Now, but Eversolo is not the only one, right?
No, Eversolo is not the only one. We can't put all the eggs in one basket. We started working this year or a little bit late last year with another company called Shanling out of China. Shanling has been around for a long time. They used to be here in the United States, and then they did leave the market. Now they're starting to come back into the market. We recognize that we could be a help to them to come back in the market, and they make really good transports. That's what we're focusing on. They have a huge number of products, including little portable players and things like that. But for us, the transport market is what we're concentrating on.
And yeah, absolutely. That's a CD transport for people out there. Like, what's a transport? It's the part of a CD player that spins the CD, but it's not the DAC, right? So the DAC would be in the Eversolo, and then you would connect the Shanling transport to your Eversolo.
Right. You can do it that way. Shanling does make a DAC also if you want to go completely that direction. Their CD transports, they have an SACD transport. So they've got a CD ripper for those that want to just take their CD collection and put it in a digital file. I had a lot of hesitation when we first talked out to them about bringing this into the country. Wasn't sure how much of a demand there would be, and I was completely wrong. There's a huge demand for transports.
Nobody's doing it anymore, so that's created a need for it.
Yeah, people have got huge CD collections that they want to put on digital form, or they want to play them again. I think the CD market is coming back. At least that's what I'm hearing in the industry. And so people still want physical media, and this is just an answer to that need.
Right on, right on.
Yeah.
And so we're going to talk in depth about all of these, and we're going to show some of the products. But there are two other brands, and one of them that I really am interested in. It's a little outside of the 2-channel world, but Zidoo, right? So that's more in the home theater realm, right?
Which one?
Zidoo.
Oh, Zidoo. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, that's my accent. Zidoo.
That's right. Zidoo is really, I think, more or less the parent company for Eversolo. I'm not. I know they're related, but I'm pretty sure it started with Zidoo, and then Eversolo came off as an off branch. Zidoo is really oriented around the video aspect of the market, and they manufacture basically processors, video processors. Some of the most ultra high-end video processors you can get, where they're outputting 8K at 60 frames a second, with all kinds of controls to get you the best video possible. Their products start as low as $300 and go up to $1,500. And then the $1,500 you can put in hard drives and save all your video sources on the hard drives like a collection. So that's a different market, but it's a strong market.
Right on. And then was that everything, or was there another? Let's see. Oh, this is one that I'm really unfamiliar with. Luxon.
Yeah, well, not surprised.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it. So
it's brand new.
Reel to reel.
Yeah, it's another division of Eversolo. They've been working on this project for as long as I've been dealing with the company, so at least 1.5 years, if not longer. And basically, in a nutshell, it's predominantly a headphone amplifier. Okay, it's a very, very high quality, high powered headphone amplifier. But what makes it so different is it has a DSP processing for the digital files. So when you plug your headphone in, it automatically adjusts for the impedance. So no matter what your headphone is, it finds it and sets the impedance up properly for your headphones. Then with the little app on your headphone, you can literally look up your headphones on the app. So if you had, Ardis, and I'm not sure of a model, but you had an Ardis, you could find it on there and you would click on it, and it would then open up a file that would allow you to put any kind of curve you want in the headphone amp that's matched to your headphones. They actually have taken the measurements of all these headphones ahead of time, so that when you choose something, you're choosing something that's already been measured. So you could apply, for example, the Harman curve to the headphones. Hit a button, it loads it into the software, and you're set to go.
That's outstanding. Yeah, that's super cool.
I think it's going to be really cool myself.
Yeah, and this is cool. Is it DAC and amp and everything all integrated?
Everything's all put in one box. It's ready to go.
That's cool. Right on.
You could hook it into your system, so you could feed it out also and as part of your system. But the big value will be when you plug in your headphones.
Okay. Now, before we get deep into the 4 brands and products and all that kind of stuff, I do want to talk a little bit about Forte distribution, right? And so you're working there, and you're like the senior vice president Poopa of sales and global distribution or something, right? So
something like that.
Can you tell us a little bit about what your specific job is, and then for folks that don't really understand how distribution works, what is the function of a distribution company, right? How does that fall into line in the whole getting a product from somewhere to somebody's house?
Basically, what the distribution is that we make contacts with companies from outside the United States that are interested in doing business in the United States. the marketing that takes place in North America is considerably different than it does, say, Europe or other parts of the world. So that's what companies do, is they rely on somebody to help them penetrate the market and grow. As a distributor, what we do is we purchase the products from overseas. Okay, so we outlay a lot of capital because most of this stuff is paid before it hits the water or hits the air. So we put out the things, we buy the products that we need, we bring them in, and we work with dealers around the United States. We introduce the products to the dealers, find out if they like it. If they come on board as a dealer, then they give us orders, and we use our supply that we bring into the United States to fill in the orders. And that's basically what a distribution company does. And we have a small margin that we make in the process. Obviously, we need to stay alive too. But that's really what a distributor does for all practical purpose.
Right on. And so what made you say to yourself, man, Forte, that's the place for me? So I loaded up my truck and I moved to Beverly.
I have a lady that I work with that is basically like a partner. I used to work with her a long time ago, and she called me up and had sold her previous business and said, look, I found a product that I just think is really top notch. Take a look at it. It was Eversolo. She sent me down a piece. At that point, I had actually retired. Then saying, okay, I've had, in this business a long time. And then I looked at Eversolo and played with it, and I went, oh shit, I'm back in the market again.
Yeah. Well, good choice.
So we talked about it. We figured out what we wanted to do, how we wanted to set up a distribution network and dealer network, and we got started.
Awesome.
And both of us are doing it with the same concept in mind. If it's fun, we'll continue to do it. If it gets to a point where it's just not fun anymore and it's just a headache, we'll move on. But for the time being, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Right on. And some people are making some comments. So, for the folks that are out there watching, please say hi. But Nikita's here with us, and he said he's looking at all these brands for his next gear purchases and figuring out what he's going to do with importing some CDs and that kind of stuff. And Mr. Wright is out there with us as well. So nice to see you. Everybody else, please say hi as we go through this. Now, I want to work through things backwards a little bit, right? So go from maybe the least well-known to the most well-known. And I want to start with Luxon. And I'm going to pull this up so people can see what's going on here. And this is cool. I mean,
it is cool.
It's got 2 VU meters on the front.
But just quickly, the VU meters is just like the Eversolo meters, where you can put the meters on or you can take them out.
Right. So that's like an LCD kind of display,
yes.
Right? Yeah. Yep. So you can do, and then is that a touch screen by any chance?
Yes, but limited control because there isn't much that you can do with it on that screen.
Gotcha,
Most of it's going to be handled through the app in your phone.
Right on. Yeah. So you got a 4-inch LCD, PCM DSD, R2R over the air, in the DSP that you talked about. Yeah. I mean, and then on the front, you've got your 4-pin XLR connector, and then it looks like a 1/4 inch. And then what is that? A 3.5 millimeter?
Right.
So you can plug anything into this thing.
Yes. Cool. You can plug anything you want into the thing.
Yeah. Does it have USB inputs on it as well?
In the back, it has USB inputs in the back.
That's cool.
Yeah. I don't know if it shows the back here. I think the webpage is pretty new.
It is new.
Yeah. But so this is the piece that you're talking about. And does it have a model number yet? Do you know?
X9, I believe, if I'm correct, is called.
Right on.
The X9. We got the first ones in time for the Can Jam show in New York. So we showed it there for the very first time. It was an engineering prototype, actually. So we ended up sending it on to our German distributors over there. We have another one that has come in that we'll have it at the Exponent show.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
and we have them on order. So as soon as they're in production, we'll be importing those also.
Beautiful.
I was really, really taken back by how good it sounded. Even before I put the curve in for the headphones, just listening to the amplifier section alone was excellent. It was absolutely excellent. It's got a ton of power, so it can run just about any headphone that's out there.
Right now. So all you really need is some kind of source device, and then everything else is handled here, right? So
Correct.
this has got okay, very nice, very nice. And any idea when this might be available to the general public for purchasing?
I would say in the next 30 to 45 days.
Oh, okay, so very soon then.
Yep.
So that's going to be, well, maybe not before Expona, but just shortly after Expona. Nice. Okay. Nikita is like, yeah, he's interested in both the Zidoo and Eversolo. Cool, both great brands. And then we have Adam somewhere out in the audience from Brooklyn, because the one thing about Brooklyn is there's no sleep.
Yeah, exactly right.
Bad
tuning in.
pop culture references tonight, everybody. Okay, so let's move on. Let me see. Going backwards, maybe Zidoo is less well known than Shanling, and it's particularly in the 2-channel market. So yeah, okay, here we go. All right, so this UHD 8000, that thing is crazy.
Yes.
As a media player, it will play everything, and it'll upconvert it all to 8K, right?
Correct. Absolutely right. It'll convert it all up. You can start with the real small model over there that will be just acting as a processor. So you can connect to some type of outside source storage area and just feed your video down into it.
Right.
And they'll do all the processing and then move it forward. And as you move up in the models, basically the difference is it's getting more storage and the ability to store stuff as opposed to just being, basic. The UHD 8000 is the one that we sell the most of. It came out. It's got all the function in it. It can do streaming also in that. It's just, as you can see, it's loaded. Almost everything you can think of in the video market is in there.
Yeah, just for people who aren't kind of deep into this ecosystem, what people do is you'll have a big stack of Blu-rays, 4Ks, or DVDs, or whatever is your thing, and then you can rip those and store them as files, right? And
Correct.
then this is the device that will then, you take all those different files. This will catalog everything. It creates this really cool tile UI. So you can say, show me the library, and then it'll show a little tile for each movie, and then you can play the movie directly. And so you're not like trying to, look on a computer and blah, blah, blah. It gives you a really beautiful interface. But then on top of that, this will then, if you happen to have like a brand new 85-inch Samsung 8K television, it'll upconvert the 4K or whatever it happens to be to true 8K, which is really nice. And it's got really great video processing. Does 8K 60p output if you want it to, which is amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's absolutely amazing. They're one of the first, if not the only ones I can think of, that are out doing that.
Absolutely, yeah. And then you can stream all your music, Qobuz and Tidal and Deezer and all this stuff here, and yeah, it's really cool. And then other things that make it interesting is, like you were saying, how the storage changed. So if you look at, let me see, so if you look at the products, and I can kind of get it. So like at the base level, you have this little unit right here. And so it doesn't have enough space even to put a hard drive inside of it, right? Like a big full 3.5-inch hard drive. Now you can plug one into the side, but as you move up, they get larger. And then when you get to this form factor, they actually have dual internal bays. And there was a picture, I think, of this.
Yeah,
there it is.
There it is.
So, yeah. So you can see how you can actually insert 2 drives, and it says that it'll take 2 16 terabyte hard drives, but I would guess that it probably would even work with the bigger ones now that have just come out, like the 22s.
Can you use these as a player if you store movies, say, on a network hard drive, a NAS drive?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you had a NAS drive, you can connect directly to the NAS drive and pull your media down from the NAS drive.
That's the ticket.
Yeah.
So yeah, NAS drives you can hold almost anything you can imagine. So that would work really, really, really well that way.
Yeah, and then if you look on the back on this model, it's got the higher end audio output stage, so you can do your XLR outs to a stack of amplification for 2-channel listening. And then, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the same parent company, or this Zidoo and Eversolo, or there's a relationship there. I don't know if Zidoo is the parent, but the expertise that you find in the Eversolo gear is the same kind of stuff that you find here, right?
Yes, absolutely. Eversolo and Zidoo. I believe Zidoo was first, then Eversolo came behind. And in the company itself, a huge chunk of the company are software engineers.
Yeah.
So they need to be software engineers to do all this video processing and get it right. And then that same engineering process came into the Eversolo line.
Very
It's a
cool.
really interesting product. I, as a professional integrator, I can see several uses for this. I'll talk to you about later on that. I mean,
It's
really,
it's nice, and the bays themselves are kind of a plug and play. So if you had two 16s that were full, but you had another 16 terabyte hard drive you wanted to put, you can pop one out and just put the new one in. So you may be limited to 32 at one time. It doesn't mean that they're fixed in there.
Yeah, you could have 10 of them if you wanted to, and just
So-
A through C. D through
does this do streaming of apps as well as this playing back hard media stored?
I don't think you can stream like you mean like off of Netflix or that.
Yeah, just any of the like
this is a little bit out of my expertise, so I'm not really sure on that answer.
Yeah, well, I can speak to that to some extent. So this is a dedicated video media player box, right? So the goal in life for this unit is to play any type of file that you can throw at it from a video perspective. It is not designed to take the place of like a Apple TV or an NVIDIA Shield or Roku.
Like
yeah.
Right.
So if you're looking for Netflix and Disney and blah, 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 then this would be a companion device. So you'd have both of those in one for each purpose.
Playing your movies and storing your movies and maybe some music.
The cool thing about this though, is that, not only will this play all your movie files, but this will also handle streaming capabilities on the 2-channel side of the house, right? So I think that's where it's kind of the Eversolo software expertise comes in.
Yep.
Because and I think you can also target it with Rune if you're running Rune.
It is room ready, correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Excellent.
I mean, this for a person who wants to have a really great 2-channel experience in a home theater kind of world, this is kind of a cool piece of tech for that.
Very
right?
cool.
Yeah.
Do we know yet what retail is going to be on this?
On the 8000 is 1500.
Yeah, which is a really
yeah, I know.
price.
That's what I said too. Wow, with all that's in there, that's a lot that you're getting for your money there.
Now, if folks want to go lower price point though, you could go like down to the Z9X 8K, right?
Yeah, the Z9 I think is only $299.
Yeah, and this guy, this is the newer version. For a while, I had the original Z9, which is old now. The Z9X Pro is 4K. It's been replaced with the Z9X 8K, and I really enjoyed that one. But this one, it's taking advantage of newer technology for the 8K upres and all that kind of stuff. This just does not have internal drive bays, but it's a very solid player. It does has all the same basic functionality of the super high end stuff. It just doesn't, as you can see, it doesn't have the 2-channel XLR output high end kind of capabilities.
That one is really down to being a video processor.
Yep, absolutely. Cool. All right, so let's move on now to a product that I think I was about as surprised as you were at its popularity. But this is Shanling, right? And so Shanling is the CD transport player, and it's not this one. What is it? The ET3?
ET3 is the one that we're doing a lot of right
Yeah,
now.
I'm trying to find that one on here, but I can never find it on the webpage. Maybe it's under number 1. It's in here somewhere. But
Yeah, there's the CR60 and the ET3 is on here somewhere.
yeah, I don't know exactly where it is. Maybe I can search for it. ET3.
Next page.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
There it is. Yep. That's right now that's the most popular one for us.
This thing is crazy. So on top, the way you put the CD in, and you see this on the really high-end transports, is you will take and grab that whole top piece and it comes off the round piece, and you put your CD in and then you put that back on. It's really really cool.
Yep.
But this does it stream at all as well?
Well, it has a Bluetooth connection in it, so you could stream your Bluetooth to it.
Right on.
But it does not do Tidal or anything like that. It's just really a Bluetooth connection. It basically will play CD, CDR, CDRWs, MQ disc. So it plays all those different discs.
Right on. I do want to call this one out because I've seen this in person one time, and if it'll load, this thing is crazy. So this uses old new stock. I think that's the right term, right? The components that were produced a long time ago but aren't produced now, and they found enough of them to do a production run of which is what is their flagship transport, right?
Flagship, yeah.
It's like $15,000 or something, I think, right?
Yeah, close. Yeah.
But this thing is, oh my God.
It's a no holds barred unit. They took the best of all the CD drives that existed and went after the best what was out there, and they put it all together in this unit. The suspension, everything they do on it was what you wanted to do with a CD player.
Yeah, well, they have a headphone version of it too, right? So this module on the bottom bolts on for headphones, right?
Yeah.
So you can see like the normal. I'm going to plug this into a hi-fi system, right? And then if you want to use it standalone with headphones, you put this little joker on the bottom there, and then it's all there. This thing, I assume there's still stock of this, right?
Oh yeah, we have one in the company, and it's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, this is cool. Now,
looks like it came from Area 51.
It's pretty ridiculous.
Exactly, they shut it down.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. I mean, there is from my perspective, the ET3 is just a gangbuster good transport, but there's nothing else on the market that I would rather have than the T35.
It's unique, and all of that, its aspects is completely unique.
Yeah, if you want to spin a CD, this is the way to spin a CD.
I mean, it's not outlandish because around the early 2000s, 2002, I worked at a company and we were selling Lin CD players, transports, for $20,000 back then.
There you go.
Yeah, it's not.
No, Shanling's prices are really quite reasonable.
Now, what was the other? Was it the CR60 is the other one that you're importing right now?
Yeah, CR60s is another one that we do import. Yeah, what that one basically, and it sells for like $299 or $349. I'm sorry, and it is what we call a CD player ripper. So literally, it's designed just to do that. If you want to use it just as simply as the transport, send a digital signal out. That's one thing. If you want to use it as a ripper, there's literally a switch that you flip in the back, connect it to your computer, and then it will send the signal through USB and that so that you can rip it and put it on your hard drive.
Right on. So you could use this, rip your discs, store them on the network, and then use the Eversolo to then play the files back if you wanted to.
Correct. Yep.
So it's like you're building the whole ecosystem here. I like it.
Kind of.
It really is cool. It really is cool.
It's
All right.
what we had in mind when we were looking at this, is that it seems to work really well. And if the Eversolo is on a network that your computer is on, you can rip it to your computer and then download it to the Eversolo.
That's right. Yeah, because you can put in a what is it, NVMe drive, or is it like a 2.5-inch SSD in the bottom of it now?
SSD underneath,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah, that's really cool. Well, okay, I guess it's time for us to go over to the big boy now, because you guys have released this new guy right here, the DMP A10,
Yeah.
and it is ridiculous. I mean, just look at this thing. Oh my God. I've got an A8, and I used to think that was the bee's knees, right? And then I saw the A10 come out. I was all like, "Crap! Look at the dial on it. LCD on the dial, LCD everywhere." Oh man, it's gorgeous.
It is.
Yeah, crafted like a piece of art. Absolutely. So, could you talk a little bit about, kind of what Eversolo does at a high level, and then I want to get into this A10, and then maybe the what is the A6 Master? No, A6 Gen 2, in the Master Edition Gen 2 that just came out as well. But maybe just a little bit. What's the goal in life for Eversolo?
Okay. Well, Eversolo is addressing what you would expect is the streaming market. And it's becoming an all-in-one center for people to have their collections in, their music source at. So if you can put digital music on an SSD card, you have your digital files. If you want to have a NAS that has a ton of music on it, you can connect the Eversolo to the NAS and pull your music down that way. It's an all-in-one type of thing. The A6, which is the entry model, basically was designed just what it sounds like. It's basically going to be put into a system, and it's easy to use. Touchscreen on the front, an app for your phone. Everything you can do on your app, you can do on the touchscreen, and vice versa. Analog outputs, digital inputs. Like you mentioned earlier, there's a little drawer on the bottom for the 6 and the 8. You can put 2 terabyte SSD drive in there, and that's a hell of a lot of music. So you can store on that. If it's connected to your main system, you can communicate it with your phone through the Wi-Fi system, but you can also take your computer and just find it and download music into the Eversolo. So you don't have to pull the card out every time you get new music and have to reload it. You can just load it right straight down from your computer. The main emphasis really was to make it convenient for people to use and give them as many options as you can. So it's Rune Ready, Tidal, Qbuzz, Spotify, all these different types of streaming services, Radio Paradise, all of that's all available. It has an internet radio in it, so you can listen to radio stations from around the world, which actually, to be honest with you, is a lot of fun at times.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
And they do radio a lot much differently than we do here in the United States and some countries. It's really interesting.
It is. During Christmas time, I had my daughter here, and we were listening to music, and we wanted to find some Christmas music. So go to the internet radio, type in Christmas, and it pulls up a bunch of stations. And there was a station called Crooner. And I said, "Oh well, that's going to be good. It's going to be Frank Sinatra and all the people from that time period." And I turned it on, and yes, that's exactly what it was. It's all this Christmas crooner music, and I went, "Okay, this is going to be a nice mood thing." The announcer came on and was speaking French.
Bonjour.
Station was based out of Paris.
Nice, yeah. It's a small world now, right?
Yeah, it's a small world. But that's basically what Eversolo was trying to do with the A6, was to provide that kind of all-in-one package, which gave people the opportunity. The A6 Master, when they came out, was a increase mostly in power supply and the timing mechanism on the digital side. So it improved the sound a lot in the high frequencies. The high frequency was a little bit less analytical, for lack of better words, and a little bit more energy in the analog outputs. So that was the main difference between those two. The A8, which I believe you had,
I have one right there. I'm looking at it. It's beautiful.
Okay. was a step up all the way through. It was an increased, much better power supply, better DACing system, better clocking system, better in the analog system, doing R2R component. So it really did everything to make it a higher end piece to offer to everybody else. And the sound difference between the 6 and the 8 was quite noticeable. So it definitely moved in the right direction.
Yeah, and you know, I did a video about the A8. Gosh, it's been about a year ago now, and I literally replaced my Hi-Fi Rose RS-150 with this, right? So, and I've been using it ever since. It's a
Are
good
you
piece
using the
here.
analog out to your pre-pro, or are you using it straight digital?
I'm using this as the pre-pro.
That's
So
the DAC. Okay. Oh, you.
yeah,
I
yeah,
see.
yeah. This is
General.
so my CD transport plugs into the A8.
Right.
And then
Out to the amps.
yeah, and then I have a Rune targeting the A8, and then I use the XLR out into my amplification. So
Very
I
cool.
use the A8 for everything. Yeah,
That's great.
Yeah, it's the complete core of the system.
So those two setups, you mentioned the Gen 2. I'll get that before I get into the 10. The A6 and the A8, not the A6 and the A6 Masters have been out the longest of all the products. They were their initial products. So the Gen 2 basically is taking that foundation and increasing the quality of the parts that are going into it, increasing the better power supply, working on the analog section, working on the clocking section. So it's like evolution. It's not a dramatic difference, but it is moving forward in the products themselves, giving you better quality. And they kept them at the same price, at least for the time being. So it definitely was a nice evolution for those products. And they're just starting to arrive here in the United States. Eversolo has been working really hard trying to catch up with all the orders on that.
Oh yeah, well that's a good problem to have.
Yes, exactly.
And so, okay, I here's a little behind the scenes story, right? So at CD, not CD, at Expono last year, you know, I was kind of listening to different dealers talking about Eversolo, and they were just fighting trying to get units because they can't get enough of them, right? So as fast as Eversolo can make these things, you know, they get allocated and distributed, and everybody's like, I need more. But that's pretty darn awesome.
It's a great product. I mean, you know, the Eversolo was the first of that all-in-one kind of DAC, you know, where you have multiple inputs, outputs you can use as a preamp. I just thought it was just a fantastic evolution in audio. Now I see a lot of people copycatting it, but you know, it's transforming the high-end 2-channel market. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I agree with you completely, Don. It is changing everybody's like that. And other companies are trying to catch up with the streaming services. And there are some really good streamers that are coming out.
Sure.
No one yet that I've run into can do the software the same way, though. That's the one advantage I think Eversolo has
really
over
cool back
everybody
then.
else.
I can only imagine now, you know, this was a couple years ago, so I can only imagine now, you know, where it's at.
They are constantly working to improve their software all the time. And as Giles will notice, is that your 8 gets updates automatically,
It does.
and on a regular basis. And so when they find little glitches and stuff like that, or things to improve the product, they don't hesitate to upload it to all their owners all over the world. So that works really, really good as far as that part of it's concerned.
Yeah. So MW asks, is it mainly because Eversolo is good software and it's R2R? So I can give you a point of view, and this is a very consumer-centric point of view. I've always been very, very happy with the sound. You know, once everything's said and done, whether I'm streaming to it using Rune or CD transport, you know, the sound's always been really pleasant for me. And you know, some people can say, okay, it's the R2R that's in there, and whatever it is, it sounds great and it works for me. The second piece is that the unit itself has really great build quality, has every feature that I could ever hope to have. But then even more important than that is that the software, and I know we keep coming back to the software, but the software always works and the updates have never caused problems for me. And it's all kind of speedy, and it just makes for a really great experience listening to music. So I don't get caught up with, okay, I'm trying to keep this device updated, I need to go download a firmware thing, and I
Maybe
need to type
Sonos
in
should call them,
you know,
get some advice.
yeah, no, that's true. They have had some significant problems, but yeah, MW, it works for me on every level. It's a great sounding piece of kit. You can pair this thing if you wanted to with $200,000 speakers, right? You really could,
Well,
and it would be great.
That's what I like about it, being able to have the flexibility to start off with a unit, get yourself a nice, maybe Class D amplifier, a nice set of speakers, and obviously through software updates, which I'm always on. I always waiting for new updates to come. So they always usually have new features with them, and you can progress and grow your system and still keep that as kind of the source for doing that. I mean, that's fantastic, because I come the old school audio world when it was time to upgrade, you better take out a loan. So I mean, that's phenomenal.
Yeah,
Really hats off to them for that.
And you can also do upgrades on your own too, which I actually learned this week how to do it. I had a customer that wanted to put Pandora into his A10, and it doesn't come with the unit, but you can download the APK file, put it on a flash drive, plug it in the back, find it with the file software under that, click on it, and it loads itself, and you're done. It was
Very
that
cool.
simple, and you had Pandora on the A10.
Okay, I'm gonna have to try that one of these days when I'm No, that's
They
cool.
still make Pandora?
My son loves Pandora.
Oh,
their algorithms are good.
He loves it. I mean, he's mostly Spotify now, but he still loves Pandora. Now, one thing I want to say, Don, this goes back to a comment you made. So my A8, I've got it paired. I used to be running a Class D amp with it, but I moved over to a Stark Sound A3 Class A amplifier, and it's so good.
That's a badass amplifier, dude.
It's so good. Yeah, they were showing that at Exmona last year. It's really, really, yeah. And I'm using some Stark Sound towers right now, which it's really wonderful system. I mean, I can't say enough about it. And this is the A8 is the old stuff. Let's talk about the big boy.
I knew you'd come back to that one.
Yeah, I got to come back to it. I mean, this thing just, oof.
Yeah, the A10 in my mind, and I think with most people, becomes the heart of the system. That's really what it was designed to be. You literally, it's like basically your preamp, okay, for the system. In my case, I use active speakers, so it literally is the heart of speaker of the system. And in this case here, it has all the software as far as UI is concerned, like all the other pieces. So it's extremely good to use, easy to use. But what they did in this is they went all out, not only in the digital section, but they went all out on the analog section. And it's a step attenuation with the volume control. So, you have that. You have a balance all the way through the system. You've got a linear power supply. You've got dual DACs sitting inside there. You've got room correction technology that's built into it. Again, software orientated. You can get a microphone, a calibrated microphone from us. That's from Eversolo. You plug it in and it'll do its reading and make adjustments. It has a DSP built into it if you want to play with DSPs. That's one of those items that you can either really make a difference or really hurt yourself if you don't know what you're doing. So it gets all of those things. You have digital inputs, you have digital outputs, you have USB inputs, USB outputs. Again, fully balanced, amplifier circuit.
So, Roger, can I ask you a quick question, sir?
Of course.
And forgive my ignorance. So, being an integrator, say if somebody has one of these units and they would like to continue the sound to multiple rooms in the house, could you add additional units with amplifiers, and would the app support that multi-room where you could go in different rooms and choose it, or play everything together?
It can be room controlled. All right. So,
Mono.
but as far as I know, you can only going to be able to have one output source at a time.
Okay, understand.
So yeah, you could control it from other rooms and have the signal going there, but you can't play two different things in two different areas.
Understand.
Oh, this is what I've been looking for. Here we go. Fine. I had to
Wow.
scroll way down to get to the back of this thing. So we got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah,
here.
if on your it's starting from the left, which obviously is your power thing, but you got digital outs on the left. So you have first 3 little knobs on the top is for Bluetooth and Wi-Fi.
Yeah, so this is where your antennas plug in.
Right, and you can do Wi-Fi. I think is 5.3 on this. You have digital optical out, coaxial out, and you also have USB outputs on the back. Just below that, you have USB 3.0. So if you want to put a flash drives of that, you can look in there. Ethernet connection hardwired if you like, which is what I use also on that over there. So those are basically your outputs and control inputs.
Now I want to talk about this one real quick. So this has got SFP for fiber. So I believe, and I don't have one of these to play with, and I haven't really watched a lot of the content about them, but I believe you can buy a SFP transceiver and plug in and then connect fiber Ethernet instead of copper Ethernet. So for folks that are trying to, I don't know what's it called, galvanically isolate their device so that they don't have copper Ethernet running in, but rather fiber network, you can connect this over a fiber network. And for some people, that's a big deal.
Yeah, you can. Oops, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Don.
Go ahead. I was just going to say the 5 guys out there that would actually use that would be happy.
You're not far off. It is unfortunately we're here, at least in Connecticut, we're just getting into fiber, and I just recently had my fiber installed. But once it hits the house, okay, the fiber's up to the house. It then goes to a into a 59 RG59 cable. So they change it over so they can go through your house. In order to take a true advantage of that would be able to have your fiber go all the way up to the unit itself and take advantage of it at that point.
Yeah, I have to say thanks to Home Theater Denmark. He has generously donated 50 DKKs. So I think that's a Danish dollar. Cool. I think. I'm not sure. But and other folks are joining. Vangula's with us, and then MW. We're going to get to some of the other things that you're asking about. And Home Theater Denmark says, "Hey guys, your biggest fan and supporter from Denmark is in the chat. How you doing, Don?"
I'm here.
Yeah, and a lot of people have been
through this.
A lot of people have been throwing up support for you in the chat.
It fills my heart.
Answer one of the questions that I just saw popped up over there. If you go into the menu, you can, and you have a subwoofer. Yes, you can set the crossover for the subwoofer and for your mains. That will be in the menu cool. When you tell it that you have a subwoofer.
Yeah. Well, so I want to get to the subwoofer stuff as we talk through all these different connections, because the subwoofer piece of this is absolutely the game changer for me. But we'll get to that. Yeah, but we'll get to that in just a minute. So we've kind of worked through here, and then you've got a dedicated ground if you want to do that. Triggers.
12 volt DC triggers.
In and out.
Yep.
So I mean, oh God, it's so cool. It's
so, is there a phono input? I can't see.
No phono.
You'd have to use what?
Yeah, you'd have to go. Yeah,
you have to go in with your RCAs or your XLRs from a phono stage.
Digital ins. You got 2 coaxials, 2 toss links over there. You also have an ARC, so you can hook it into a hi-fi, into a home theater system. You can set a bypass inside the unit. So if you have a signal coming in and you want to go back out without any kind of processing, you can set it up as a bypass and have it go through your system like that. Then you have analog in and analog out. So it acts as a complete preamplifier.
Yep. Now this analog out though, this is the super secret sauce for me, right? So you have 2 or 3 things that are really special. So one, you've got your room correction technology. You can take your mic and do all your DSP stuff, right? Which for me, because I'm not your traditional 2-channel person that's like, all you can do is put some room treatments up and that's all you can do to modify your sound. No, I'm all like, I'm going to DSP the heck out of this. It's going to sound good. But this will also allow you to set crossover on subwoofers so that you don't have to do some weird hokey external crossover thing for subs,
Like a mini
or
DSP.
play your left right full range and then double it up on top of your subwoofer, right? So you can truly crossover subwoofers. And Roger, is it true that this is doing stereo left right subwoofer? That's one question I want to get clarified, because I haven't been able to get that. Are they summing and then just putting subwoofer out on 2 channels, or is it really crossed over right channel and crossed over left channel?
It's a good question. I'm really not sure on that one.
So that's what I want to find out, because
that's a good question.
If it really does true right channel,
yeah,
left channel, and then you can take your subs and co-locate them with your towers, that is going to be.
Well, if those outputs that had that low pass filter built into them just followed the other ones that you would run to your main amp, then you would have stereo bass. So, you're thinking surround sound processor world where the 0.1 is always there. So even if I have something that's not dedicated for instance, if I've got a little streaming pre-pro and it has 2 sets of analog outputs, 2 go to the amp and 2 go to the sub. So therefore I just use a crossover on the sub. I get stereo bass, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. What I would not be as happy about is if they were crossing over the left and right and then taking all of the left right channel information, combining it, and then outputting it over both of those 2 outputs, just so it's easier to cable, right?
Okay. Yeah.
My preference would be, okay, it's got the right channel, it crosses over, sends the highs out the right, and then the lows out the sub R, and then on the left side, it independently crosses that over, highs out the left, and then the lows at the sub L. And then you truly have discrete information. Now, a lot of people will be like, bass is omnidirectional, doesn't matter, under 80 hertz, it's all the same. What I still prefer to do that, if that makes sense. Yeah, so that
makes sense.
When I saw that, I was like, oh my God, real left and right subwoofer outputs, real crossover. I don't have to worry about outside of the box anymore. It does DSP. Yeah, I'm sold. I'm done.
Yeah,
this has addressed every issue that I've ever had with a smart streaming pre-pro.
And another thing that's also nice, and you just mentioned the DSP. If you're going into and you're playing with the DSP, you can assign a particular DSP curve. You can set and save different types of DSPs that you come up with, but you can apply it to a particular input. So instead of having to change it every time you go to that particular input or source, it has that DSP assigned to it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And it does say here it supports stereo mode for the subwoofers out. So,
or
you can do mixer mode where it combines. So it does seem like it would.
You choose it. It's in the menu.
Yeah.
I've seen it in the menu where you choose whether it's stereo or mixed.
Okay. That's man, awesome. And one question, and this is the one question that everybody's going to ask too, is for the DSP stuff. Everybody's going to say, does it do Dirac, right? Because Dirac is, super, super duper popular. This is Eversolo's own room correction tech, right? And not Dirac? Or
correct. It's their own system.
Right on. Yeah. And I agree that just from a comfort point of view, I'm very familiar with Dirac. And I think that would be a popular add-on at some point. But I'm just happy that you can use the Eversolo room correction, because that to me is super important. Ooh, okay. We have maybe 3 or 4 more minutes left in the stream tonight. So I had I had a whole bunch more questions for you, Roger, that we're not gonna make it to. But so for all the stuff that you have going on across all these different brands, what are the kind of the must-see things? So if somebody's going to come to Expona or look at your stuff, what are the ones that are? Is it the A10 that's the must-see, or the Shanling CD planner? What do you think?
For the people that come into Expona, there are a couple different items I think that people can see. If you're interested in streamers, obviously the Eversolo 6 through 10 definitely things you can see. And if you get a few minutes, you can touch and play with it.
Yeah.
Gives you an idea of it. We'll have the A10 playing with the F10 on a system at the Exponent, so it'll give people an idea of the sound of the product. Along with that, we will have the Lux X9 there. So we'll have that there and a couple headphones. So people that might be interested in that can sit down for a moment and just listen to the X9 and get a real good idea of what that's all about. And it's going to be coming in around $1,200. So it's a really affordable piece.
Yeah, that's outstanding.
And I think that's something that somebody will sit down into. I'd like to knock on wood, but I'm sitting in front of a glass desk. There is a transport that Shanling is working on that I can't say too much about, but we should have it by the time Exponent comes around, in which case we'll make an announcement before Exponent that will definitely be something that some people would want to take a look at. It's a brand new type of SACD transport that's never been done before. So that could be a lot of fun also along that line. So we have a few new products that are coming in that people could take a look at that would easily, help you build up your system and still leave money in your pocket.
Nice. I love it. And I mean, it's just, the stuff is so good and the prices are so aggressive.
Yeah. Roger, doesn't
considering
Eversolo work with like Stark, I believe, from the amplification side? I thought I read that.
They did for a while. They're no longer working with
okay.
each other.
Okay.
They parted ways. Yeah.
Copy.
But they did do a small amplifier in F2 with Stark. And so we still sell those and we still do pretty well with those. But then they went on their own and developed the F10 from ground up.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Right on. Okay. I think we're going to go ahead and put a fork in this one. Don, anything you want to say to the folks? I know people have been asking me about you a lot.
Absolutely love you guys. And I'm so grateful. I almost want to cry, even though I don't have a heart. This surgery's been really rough. I can't move. Like, I have to pick my arm up with this arm. So trying to recover to get back on, but I enjoy streaming with Giles. He's been very good to me, and I just love interacting with you guys, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful to meet Roger, and I'm gonna check out some of this product, man. I'm excited. Appreciate it all of you very much.
Right on. And
nice meeting you too, Don.
And Don, you are expected to make a full recovery and get all mobility and everything back, right? That's the plan, right?
They say it probably will. I start physical therapy in the morning, so I had a laminectomy, and after the laminectomy, I developed something called C5 palsy, where my entire left arm just stopped working. My fingers move, but
that's the wonderful bonus prize for surgery, right?
You should see me trying to brush my teeth or pour a drink, or I can't do anything. My girlfriend is an angel. She took 2 weeks off to babysit, and she feeds me. It's embarrassing, but I mean, that's wonderful to have a significant other that does that. But we do this for the passion, Giles. We don't, we love this, and I got a serious case of FOMO sitting in the hot, trying to watch.
Don's been like, I want to come on. I gotta come on. I gotta come on the show today.
I did some shorts with my Batiste headphones because I was listening to music, and then I looked. I'm like, oh my god, I look like a death. But no, I'm grateful, and not to seize this, but Roger is really great meeting you to learn more about this product. Like I said, I tried one of them out a couple years ago and was super impressed. I look forward to diving in some of these new products with you, man. This is really cool. Great.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you too.
And pleasure. Roger, as always, it is a pleasure to have you on the show. I look forward to seeing you again at Expona and chit-chatting and talking about all the new stuff. And I think that's it. Thank you so much. And everybody, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Giles. Thank you, Don. Take care now.
See you, everybody.
Goodbye.